And I thank the Minister for being here. I'm conscious that I'm probably one of the first deputies elected to Dáil Éireann that grew up with the Good Friday Agreement in place, and I'm part of a generation that saw peace come to this island and violence eventually coming to an end. This peace is now being threatened by the withdrawal of the United Kingdom from the European Union and the Internal Market Bill. It is welcomed that the EU will not allow the Internal Market Bill and any other legislation that would undermine the protocol in Northern Ireland to be used as a negotiating tactic by the United Kingdom. We must and cannot allow peace in this island to be undermined and an international treaty obligation to be broken. And I support the Minister, this Government and the EU in ensuring that these laws are upheld. However, we must recognise that from the 1st of January in 2021, the way that we trade with the United Kingdom will be dramatically different. We must prepare accordingly to ensure a smooth transition occurs. And I would specifically like to take the opportunity today to speak about the needs of our agricultural sector with a focus on protecting our family farms. I live on a family farm, a family dairy farm, and I'm acutely aware of the potential harm that this sector the potential harm that could be done to the sector by a disorderly Brexit minister. And Brexit will change the way that the Irish agri-food business trades with the United Kingdom's customers and its suppliers. The United Kingdom will become a third country at the end of the transition period, which will see the introduction of new custom formalities, including import and export declarations, pre-notifications for certain products and produce, licence requirements and other regulatory requirements. And I would like to highlight the issues faced by the dairy industry, and I do so because thousands of families in my constituency of Cork East rely on the agri-food sector for their income. While I would be the first to recognise that Ireland's dependence on the UK market has fundamentally changed since Ireland and the UK first joined what was then the European Economic Community, it is clear that the Irish dairy industry is hugely reliant on exports to the UK market. The UK is Ireland's largest market for food and drink, with 40% of our food exports destined for the United Kingdom. In 2016, 34% of Ireland's dairy exports went to the UK, representing 53% of our cheese exports, 29% of our butter and 12% of our SMP. Exports of cheddar cheese were 78,000 tonnes, representing 82% of all cheddar imported by the UK in 2016. Ireland is the only significant exporter of cheddar to the UK market, and the UK is the only market of significance for Irish cheddar. We must ensure that this market is protected, and a sensible agreement must be reached to ensure that such markets would stay open. We face two major issues with the dairy industry: an over-reliance on a single market and the potential disruption of a vital supply chain. While I welcome the supports that the Government is proposing in its Brexit Readiness Action Plan, including €2 billion of a credit guarantee scheme, we need to think more broadly about market diversification of this industry. Huge capital investment has been made across the country by family farms in recent years since the abolition of the quotas. There has been huge fear that this will potentially all go to waste. Irish farm output has jumped by nearly 50% since 2010, predominantly because of the lifting of the milk quotas. And frankly, there needs to be more focus on a transition out of the UK market. We cannot act within the reality of what we want, but the reality that is. It is growing ever more likely that we are going to find it difficult to have any sort of comparable access to the UK market that we previously enjoyed, and I think we must act accordingly, Minister. I know great work has been done by the likes of Bord Bia and other semi-state bodies to promote market diversification. But it is critical that supports are put in place at a local level to ensure that small family farms are supported in this market transition. We should not be seen to just be plastering over the cracks, hoping that the house will not collapse, when we should have been looking for a new house to start afresh. The second issue I mentioned at the beginning of my speech is ensuring that the Northern Ireland Protocol is upheld. We must ensure the Union Customs Code and other EU provisions necessary to preserve the integrity of the single market, and that it will ensure that it continues to apply to and in Northern Ireland. The current highly integrated All-Ireland milk processing structures will not survive if it is not upheld, Minister. And it is true that if we can reconfigure our supply chain in the wake of COVID-19, and I know there has been much efforts to do so, it could do a lot to protect that sector. But however, in terms of viability, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland's dairy sector would be dramatically negatively impacted if such a configuration away from Northern Ireland was to occur. We must have all-Ireland approaches when it comes to managing our resources, and any such of a negative blockade to this would be unwise for maintaining of peace, unjustified economically, and not in the best interests of family farms across this country. I would urge you, as I know you are committed to ensuring the Northern Ireland Protocol stays in place, and we need to do all that we can, Minister, to protect our agri-food connections with the United Kingdom. And I may just join Deputy Richmond in his comments to welcome the new British Ambassador to Ireland. I know he arrived in the last week, and also to wish the former Ambassador the best of luck in his future career. Gormila Mahagat.